can start already when Petrus is doing my presentation already. So I'm pleased to be here and thank you that you invited me to come here this seminar. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, everything is all right. Okay, yes. I have now the NGO's view of this aspect and the participation in policy process to making that kind of action plan or any other policy process. My name is Liisa Murto and I'm working as a lawyer in Federation for Visually Impaired. And I'm also doing quite a lot of work for Finnish Disability Forum. And my presentation, I will tell you about the disability non-governmental organization participation in policy process. But first of some words about my organization, what kind of NGO is it and what we are doing. The Finnish Federation of Visually Impaired promotes the visually impaired person's possibility to live rich and independent lives. Our federation, advocacy and service organization of the Finnish Visually Impaired Association, and we have 24 members association. So the association are the members and those are the disability people's own association. We have a 14 regional association and 10 interest organization and also 100 local association and clubs. And our work is a national and local advocacy and lobbying work, have expertise, guidance and counseling. We also give support to member association and promotion of social life and relations, and also rehabilitation, vision aid and employment services. The promotion of access to information and information services for visually impaired people, and also international networking and development partnership. And we also have the guide dog school, and we preach and raise guide dogs, about 25 guide dogs every year given to visually impaired dog users. And there are about 80,000 persons with visual impairment in Finland. 10,000 are blind and 70 have different levels of partial sign. And 9 out of 10 visually impaired are over 26 years of age. And around 2,000 are under 18 years old. And the population in Finland is 5 million, so comparing. Yes, but then some words about the Finnish Disability Forum. Our organization is also a member of Finnish Disability Forum, and Disability Forum is an umbrella organization, and there are 42 national disability organizations and over 300,000 members. So many papers here. I have my notes here in my papers, so sorry. So it's there's an annual meeting in Disability Forum and also board members, and then advocacy groups, and we are doing a lot of work in networks and through these advocacy groups. And here's a list of all the member organizations. There are a lot of organizations with and about the activities, about how we are doing our activities and how we take part to process and doing that advocacy work. First of all, the information to and from members, and we have that networks activity and email posting list, so we send vital information to each other, everything what is happening, and also discuss by email. And also we have meetings, that advocacy group have meetings once a month. And then we also there we decide what to do and also share information. And the lobbying, nationality and internationality, mostly nationally, that's the main task of our organization. And we are also pooling of expertise and resources through networking and focusing on major terms that we all share. And we have that human rights approach to disability. And I think that there are so many different organizations in that Finnish Disability Forum. Of course, every organization has their own main task and main approach what they want to do, but there are a lot of things that which are common to all of our organizations. So, and we have found out that it's very important that we can work together. So we have much more power and we've been heard much better when we are working together. And we have nowadays quite a good position in Finland, and we are invited to participate in ministerial working groups which have tasks to draft proposal. For example, there are also other examples, and we are called for expert hearings by parliament committees. Then, for example, when we are talking about the legislation proposal, when they are dealing with it in the ministerial, then we take part of these groups and also send our opinions. And when the legislation is already in parliament, so we also we are heard there in the parliament also and give our opinions there. And of course we give position papers on various bills, draft legislation and the preparation. And our expertise are called quite early. Already when they start to make some new legislation, they called us and asked our opinion. And I think that's also very important, that they really want to know what is the situation in disability organization and with disability people, not just when they have already made the proposal and it's ready and then they ask what is your opinion and they didn't pay any attention to it. But when we can have a possibility to work earlier, so we have a more power to give our opinion, and then there's some oh, sorry, my English, I forgot. But and also when they are, the ministry is different ministry, when they are already have some own proposal or some opinion what to do, they ask us. But of course, we are also working that when we see that there seem to need some modification, improvement or development, so we send some papers or give our opinion to minister and ask, say that this is something what's supposed to change and do something for it. And now I have one example of that work, and it's that National Action Plan on Disability. But before I go further that, I will tell you something about the disability service system in Finland, because it's very important to ensure that disability people can take part and be real participant. Unfortunately, the fully participant doesn't always come true, but with these services it has quite a good possibility that the disability people can take part. And we have a disability, 3 different kind of acts. But the main is that service for persons with disabilities. The basic objective of disability services is to enable persons with disabilities to live and function on an equal footing with other people. The responsibility of municipalities as providers of services and support measures is the key importance. And also private services provides and non-governmental organizations complement public services and municipalities buy some of the services for them. But there are those 3 acts which are very important: the service and assistance for the disabled people, an act of special care for persons with intellectual disabilities. Today we have these 2 different disability laws, but now we are making the new law with there will be only one law for all disability people, not anymore the special law for intellectual disabilities. And of course there's an act on integration services for persons with disabilities. And all services under the acts are cost-free for the service user. So disability people don't have to pay anything to use these services. And those services are housing services, and the most important is that personal assistance, and also transportation services. Without these transportation services, disability people are not able to go to for example, to meetings and other places. If they are not able to use public transport, so they can have the personal transportation services, so they can move wherever they like to. And also out-of-home activities which support independent living and social integration, daytime activities, and necessary home alteration work to enable independent living, and also necessary devices and equipment in the home to enable independent living. But about that, I think that something more about that personal assistant, because that's the most important for independent living and independent participation. And that assistance is provided by other person to a person with a severe disability, either at home or outside the home. And personal assistance is meant to activities that one would do by oneself, but it's not able to do because of her disability or long-term illness. The purpose of personal assistance is to assist the person to act according to her own choices. The person herself makes the decision about what kind of assistance she will have, when, where and how to receive the personal assistance, and who works as the assistants. And then there's some in the act that a person with a severe disability is defined as a person who, due to her long-term or processing disability or illness, necessarily and repeatedly need the assistance of other person for activities mentioned. And these activities are everyday activities, work, education, hobbies, social participation and social interaction. And I think that's We don't have that, not yet, that support decision making, but we have that personal assistance, and that's very good service. But also they are people, intellectual disability people, who also need this support decision making, and I hope we will also get an act from that. But now back to that policy program. And some background, it's started already 2006. Our Prime Minister that time was Matti Vanhanen, and he gave out the government report on disability policy, that equality of persons with disability, right to participation and right to necessary services and support. And also behind this, we call it VAMPO, that program, this strong basis for inclusion and equality, Finland's disability policy program. And behind that is that United Nations Convention on the Right of Persons with Disabilities. Finland signed that convention 2008, but the ratification process is still ongoing. And also behind that process is the Council of Europe Action Programme on Disability Policy. And then I think it's very important that that policy program, they are very good sort of things, but also the whole process was very, very good, and there were very good negotiation between separated disability people, disability organization, and government. And I think that's the whole process is very, very also good to awareness raising and give information to each other. It started on the kick-off seminar 2008, and then there were public hearing in 2009, and the public hearing was it's an open process, and there are a lot of civil society NGOs. They have a possibility to give their opinions and take part to that public hearing. And also there were other part of Finland, there were altogether 6 public hearings, and I think the government really wanted to collect the information and know the situation in different area in Finland, and how is the situation with the disability people. And there are cooperation between different ministers, for example, foreign affairs, justice, interior, education and culture, finance, transport and communication, employment and economy, environment and social affairs and health. And there were also some other partners, and our organization, the Finnish Disability Forum, was very important position, and also there was the Association of Finnish Local and Regional Authorities, social partners, the National Institution for Health and Welfare, and National Council of Disability. And there were thematic meetings with different ministers, and there were 2 rounds of these meetings. And I think the first round went very fine, but in the second round it was a little bit more challenging, because the ministers were not so ready to change things. They had reduces the number of action that they have assumed to be responsibility for. They say that, okay, that's a good thing, but that's not belong to us. That's not our responsibility to do that. But anyhow, it had challenges, but I think the final result is quite quite good. And it was the process, a lot of negotiation, and it's good that various parties brought negotiation table their own views and wishes what to be done. So and then something about that what kind of is that action plan, and it's and also when the government started that policy program or action plan, how we call it, the government wants to ensure that equal status of people with disability in society by tackling drawbacks by concrete corrective and development measures. For this purpose, the drafting of the disability policy program was started. And the program outlines concrete disability policy action for the next few years. It was from 2010-2015. So this year is the last year. And after this year, we are going to implement how we have succeeded with this program. The measures of the program are ambitious and aim at developing all the relevant policy sectors from the perspective of the rights, freedoms and equal opportunities of persons with disabilities. The program is divided into 14 content areas that are important from the point of view of disability policy. It comprises of altogether 1,022 concrete measures to tackle the drawbacks. And the main content of the disability policy program consists of measures to ensure the following objectives. 1. Legislative amendments necessitated by the ratification of the UN Convention on Rights of Persons with Disability. And the socio-economic status of persons with disabilities and combating poverty will be improved. The availability and high quality of special services and support measures will be ensured across the country. Accessibility in society will be strengthened and increased, and disability research will be reinforced, the information basis improved, and diversified high-quality methods developed in support of disability policy and monitoring. And there were the timetable to the measures, and also how's the financing, is there need any financing and funding, and then also whose responsibility to funding and those measures, and also indicators to implementation and monitoring. And what I said earlier, that the convention is very important role in this process. And yes, I think I said that increase the equality, independence and self-determination of persons with severe disabilities and improve their opportunities to take part in different activities within the society. That's the main task in that program. And there's also strong support and direction offered to the both municipal and regional disability policy, because most of the disability policy happens in municipal or regional level. So it's very important. It's not only the government who makes the decision, they have to do in the municipal level. I don't know how much time I still have. Okay. Say when. Okay. And there is also in that program, there were not necessary legislative changes needed before ratification is possible. Because that why we haven't ratified the convention yet is it's not that that we have a long-standing tradition of waiting until our legislation is in order before ratification, and so also in that program there was that what kind of legislation have to be done, and what is the situation in different area. And yes, here's something about that budget, that there were many measures which can be realized without extra cost, and of course then there are some which need some budget and extra cost. And also, quarter of the measures are dependent on the government decision on spending limits in force and are realized within the budget. And also, it's a question of political will. In that time they said these measures have to be done, but it's a political will that how they will be in reality. Yeah. But then this was that process doing that political that action plan, political program, and it's a lot to do with the ratification of the convention. But some words about the ratification process still. There was this group, the Minister Working Group, which preparing the ratification, and Finnish Disability Forum were with that working group, and there were four members from our organization Disability Forum in that working group, and other members are from different ministers. And the working group started already 2011 and worked 2 years. And we went the convention through article by article, and then what is the situation in legislative, and what have to be done? Are there some legislation, some law which will have to change or need a modification? And very often we notice that the legislation is in order, but the difficulties are in attitude. And then there's then doesn't help if you make a new law. They have to do some other tasks that change the attitude. And we found it out that there are 3 different laws which need to be modification, and now there is still one law, and it's about that self-determination, that Article 12 and also Article 14, that's deprivation of liberty. That's not yet done, and when this is ready, then we are ready to ratify the convention. And after our work, Minister of Foreign Affairs made the proposal to the Parliament, but Parliament had accepted it, but it's still waiting these 2 laws. Okay, and now we are involved in planning how Finland will realize that Article 30, and that's the civil society, and that third point, that the civil society and persons with disability and their representative organizations shall be involved and participate fully in the monitoring process. And also we are included in design the human rights architecture in the more generally. They are chasing a lot of things nowadays in Finland. We have get the new non-discrimination ombudsman and National Institute for Human Rights. So it happens a lot of good things at the moment. So my conclusion is that we need to fully include it in all stages of the process and decision making when we try to be part of the policy making, and it is important that persons with different disabilities, including those who need support in decision making or other services, that they are directly involved, and of course necessary researches for the whole process. So, thank you very much. That was and if you have any questions, or we have time to have questions, I will answer now or then later in lunch break. Now I need time. Oh, sorry. Hey, wait a moment. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Hola, buenas tardes. En realidad voy a centrar en ti, voy a asignar la responsabilidad de responder por los panelistas anteriores a quienes no les puedo preguntar. Entonces, la primera pregunta es si los datos que se entregaron en la mañana respecto de la situación de las personas con discapacidad, particularmente en América Latina, no lo voy a repetir, pero se referían a situación de pobreza, viviendas, salud, educación, etcétera, se corresponden también a los datos que arroja la Unión Europea. En realidad le estoy preguntando si los datos son los mismos entre los países pobres y países ricos. En segundo lugar, quiero preguntarte si estos cambios que se producen a nivel legislativo y a nivel de la institucionalidad de los estados se corresponden o producen cambios concretos en las condiciones materiales de las personas con discapacidad. Pregunto esto porque sabemos, organizaciones que somos críticas, por ejemplo en Chile, claro, hemos tenido avances significativos en el plano legislativo, el Estado incluso se dotó de una agencia para estos temas que mencionaste, pero observamos que mejoramientos en la vida material de las personas con discapacidad no son significativos. Entonces hay una disociación entre el plano institucional legislativo y los avances en el Estado y las condiciones de las personas con discapacidad. La tercera pregunta, nosotros tenemos que responder por todos los panelistas anteriores, es ¿qué rol han jugado en estos avances las organizaciones de personas con discapacidad? Porque de pronto queda la idea de que nos encontramos con unos estados y unos políticos tremendamente sensibles a lo que basta pedirles una audiencia y se convencen inmediatamente. Pero yo tengo entendido que muchos de los cambios, incluso hasta la clasificación de lo que del concepto de discapacidad que va desde la CID a la CIF, ¿verdad? Se debe a mucha movilización y en algunos casos peleas bastante difíciles que han tenido que desarrollar las organizaciones de personas con discapacidad en Europa. Muchas gracias.
Okay, thank you. There were a lot of good questions. About that legislation, first of all, the legislation must be, and legislation about the services and also non-discrimination, but with legislation only, it's perhaps not everything, but it's a good to be behind all the changes that the good legislation. And what was that data? I don't know if somebody else can answer that question. better, but I didn't find out your question, the first question. But if, and what was the last one? It was. Now I forgot already your last question. Okay, good.
A la primera parte de la pregunta en relación a las cifras que esta mañana de discapacidad en América Latina.
No, it's not.
Y lo que en relación al reto, cuando uno revisa el informe mundial sobre discapacidad de la OMS, hablamos sobre la cifra de discapacidad, 15% para todo el mundo. Pero también hay que precisar que la mayor prevalencia de discapacidad la vamos a encontrar en los países de bajos y medianos ingresos y en menor grado en los países del primer mundo. Pero, sin embargo, la discapacidad es universal y vamos a encontrar que aún en los países desarrollados la prevalencia de discapacidad es alta. Y cuando revisamos los datos entre los países, país por país, el informe mundial no tiene los datos específicos país por país, lo tiene por países de bajo ingreso, medianos ingresos y altos ingresos. Y dentro de los países de alto ingreso, también el comportamiento de la discapacidad como una condición universal, también la vamos a encontrar entre los grupos de menores ingresos o los de menores ingresos dentro de los países. Pero, repito, la mayor prevalencia de discapacidad en el mundo la vamos a encontrar entre los países de bajos y medianos ingresos.
Thank you. Okay.
Bueno, mi nombre es Liisa y soy educadora diferencial. Antes de todo quería felicitarla por la presentación. Y bueno, mi duda es relacionada con la educación. He sabido que la educación finlandesa es bastante buena, la lleva, la mejor educación del mundo. Y quisiera saber cuáles son los pasos, las políticas que tienen para realizar una educación inclusiva para los niños que tienen este tipo de discapacidades.
Yes, I think that inclusive system is also there's very important that personal assistant services, and also in our non-discrimination law there is about that reasonable accommodation. So the school have to do all the reasonable accommodation that the people can study, and they have all the services they need. They can get the information in accessibility information and whatever they need in the school. And so it's, but I think that inclusive system needs good services. If disability people who need special services are there, the other people in the class, so if they don't get the services they need, that they can learn there equally as the others, then it doesn't succeed without all these services.
Hola Liisa, mi nombre es Carla y bueno, durante la presentación se nombró que dentro de la ley de discapacidad existe este servicio de asistente personal y también se nombró que aún faltaba la asistencia en la toma de decisiones. Mi pregunta es, ¿a qué apuntan o proyectan con este tipo de asistencia? ¿A qué tipo de personas en situación de discapacidad se pretende representar con esta implementación? Y si si este tipo de personas en situación de discapacidad tienen problemas con la toma de decisiones, ¿cómo ustedes identificar la urgencia de implementar esta asistencia?
Yes, I think that personal assistance system, that's very good services, quite many disability people, but they are some intellectual disability who have some difficulties to make the decision. They need the information in that kind of information that they can understand it, and if they use some communication equipment, and so those people maybe need some help to make the decision, and that somebody tell about the situation and explain it, and then make it possible themselves to make the decision by their own. So they are people who need that kind of services, but we don't have not yet legislation about that, and also not exactly what kind of it supposed to be that support decision making. We have some examples on Ireland and other countries where they have that kind of services.
Buenas tardes, en primer lugar les felicito por su charla. Yo quisiera hacer una consulta o una pregunta que leí en su disertación, que dice: ustedes anualmente entregan 25 perros de guía. ¿Cómo lo financian eso? Porque, o sea, yo creo que es un sueño hermoso para Chile, que pudiéramos entregar una asistencia, ya sea de distintas discapacidades, pero que fueran realmente entregados por FENADE, no que lo trajéramos de Europa o de Estados Unidos o de otros países que ya están mucho más adelantados con este tipo de adiestramiento y de asistencia. Entonces a mí me extrañó que escuchar o leer ahí que ustedes entregan anualmente 25 perros de guía. Y me pregunto, ¿cómo lo hacen? Cuando yo hace 4 años que busco financiamiento gubernamental, privado, y nadie se acerca a decir, bueno, creamos este proyecto y que tenemos que y podemos hacer con un perro que pueda ayudar a una persona discapacitada. Porque como sabemos, muchas veces el animal ayuda mucho a todas las personas con diferentes discapacidades, diferentes enfermedades, tanto mentales, físicas, motoras. Muchas veces es el animal el que nos saca de este encierro que muchas veces tenemos, que no queremos salir a la calle. Gracias.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, our that kind of school, they just produce those dogs, and it's the money came from our healthcare system. The municipality they buy the dog from our school, our organization, and give the dog to the visually impaired people, and also all the costs are paid for them, all the medicine, what they need, and everything. It's come from the government.
Hola, soy Cecilia Morovich, vengo desde la Araucanía y te voy a llevar al inicio de tu presentación cuando hablas de la asociatividad y las organizaciones de la sociedad civil. Solo 2 cosas. Uno, ¿cómo ustedes financian reuniones de acercamiento de productores a través de los municipios sin que se produzca una suerte de clientelismo entre las organizaciones y y el municipio o la ONG. Eso es una consulta. La otra es respecto al cambio de paradigma que hay respecto a personas en situación de discapacidad. Si ustedes como organización han logrado que la prensa publicite esta nueva mirada de la persona en situación de discapacidad, que ya no somos objetos de calidad, sino que somos sujetos de derechos, porque lo que hay en Chile, lamentablemente, si no se mata un ciego o si no se cae un hoyo o una persona en silla de ruedas, la prensa no está presente en ningún acto para poder irradiar hacia la comunidad esta nueva idea.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The most of the NGOs get funding from the Finland's Slot Machine Association, and also they have some own. For example, our organization, Visually Impaired Federation, we sell of services and products. We get with money. For example, the guide dog system. We pronounce the guide dogs and we get the money from government. And then also donation. But I think most of the funding is coming from that Finland Slot Machine Association. And we are funding our meetings with that disability forum. It's all those NGOs which belongs to that disability forum. They pay fee, and it's not so. It's quite low fee, but in that money we can arrange all the disability forums meetings, and also all the organization they own present. They give money for their own. Oh, sorry. Okay, but it's NGOs get that money, and so we finance also all the meetings and that kind of things. And then there was about that paradigm shift. Yes, that's still going on also in Finland, but I think we have quite good succeed to change the attitude that the disability people are not anymore object, they are subject of their own thinking, but it's still something to do, but I think we are in quite good way. Okay, so thank you everybody.